problem solving can be problems in the field of marketing, international business, operations, whatever, service quality. Basically what happens is companies, they have a very clear problem, and then what they say is we need to solve this problem, okay? What you're going to apply in this field lab is you're going to apply a methodology to solve that particular problem. In the past, this has been applied from startups to companies Fortune 500, okay? And of course, the type of problems that these companies want to solve are completely different. For example, in the Portuguese case, in the case of the Nova, they wanted to find out which one is the most interesting international market for black toilet paper to be exported via express mail. You might think this is a stupid question, but trust me, that you have a lot of people across the planet that is willing to pay a premium price for black toilet paper to be exported by express mail. Okay? And we found a market for them. MasterCard are problems in the field like how to enter the European market, because this is a market that is very hard to enter, okay? And as a consequence of that, they need to understand what leads to late adoption. Deimos is a company in the field of aerospace technology, and they want to find out which ones are the most interesting international markets, and at the same time what to do with their market applications. Nova, we have been doing many different projects with different Nova directors, and each different director has a different problem to solve. So we put teams of students doing that. Startup Lisbon, for example, now I'm working with 5 startups. Each one of them has a different problem. These problems go from funding until finding the right people to work with them, human resource management. Each case is a different case, okay? Jerome Martins, for example, they are now looking to problems like how to grow, Vision 2025, and another team basically is working how to enter into the cosmetic market. So as you see, this is transversal, it's any kind of problem, okay? Is it clear the kind of problems that are addressed? Okay? So basically the way it works is when you do this work project with me, basically what we say is you're going to work with a company, can go from a startup to a Fortune 500, and then this particular company has a problem. What we're going to do is we're going to solve it. Okay? In order to solve it, we're going to follow a methodology. I'm going to give you an example. This is a project that we did for Casa da Moeda, which is probably the oldest company in Portugal. They are close to 800 years old. And they had this idea, which is how to build an innovation ecosystem, how to make people inside Casa da Moeda innovate, to help them to solve all the problems. Okay? In order to do that, we apply this framework. So there was the governance model of innovation at Casa da Moeda that had to be built. We had to bring on board innovation partners, and then we had to apply the framework. The framework basically has 5 stages. This is what you're going to do during the project, okay? In the first part of the project, basically what you're going to have to understand is how can we bring on board all the different partners, and then at the same time trying to understand what is Casa da Moeda. Of course, if we are speaking about, for example, now we are working with Tourism of Lisbon, you need to understand what is the Tourism of Lisbon, which kind of services they offer. Okay? If you work with Renova, it's the same story, and so on. So this is, let's call it stage 0, okay? There are many things you have to look at, like what is the context of the firm and so on, okay? So, once you understand what is the company about, what is the institution about, then we have to find out what is the problem that they are trying to solve. At the end of the day is what is the final challenge. For example, in the case of the Casa da Moeda, what we did was we spoke with the board, we met different people there, and then they said, okay, the problem we want to solve is how to increase value through efficiency gains. It's a very concrete problem. Okay? So we move to the second stage. In the second stage, what we do? You're going to do a brainstorming with many different people, with many different stakeholders, to try to find out how to solve this problem. And here you involve all the different stakeholders of the company, okay? There are different tools that you can use that you're going to learn about. For example, at Casa da Moeda, what we did is we use a methodology which is Banco de Ideias, because some people there, they simply don't have the tools to use the smartphone, okay? So, through Banco de Ideias, we found a lot of solutions to solve this particular problem. We found more than 125 ideas to solve this particular problem. In addition to this, it was done a survey. It was also conducted a study about solutions that they had to the past. And then we put everything together. They received some training, okay? They applied some methodologies that were developed for brainstorming, idea generation. The people in the company, basically, they discuss all the different ideas, all the different solutions. So, once we concluded this stage, this is the stage of idea generation. We move to this, let's call it 2B. What is 2B? 2B basically is to try to understand what are the main criteria, what are the main filters, I call it filters, to select which ones are the best and the worst ideas, okay? In order to do that, for example, at Jerónimo Martins yesterday, to students of mine, they had meetings with all the directors of Jerónimo Martins. And then the directors, what they say is, in order to select the best ideas, we have to use as a criteria, for example, margins a certain level. Okay, we have to do this. We have to do that. We should exclude this type of products. We should analyze this particular type of products, and so on. Okay, it's like you. When you are looking for a job, you have some criteria. You might say, for example, I want to have a salary above a certain level, okay? So you have many different tools. After this, all the different solutions are analyzed to solve the problem. In this case, there are again different methodologies like the Monopoly tool, the Shark Tank tool. They do elevator pitches to present the different ideas, and then here you have the different filters, okay? Which criteria will be used to evaluate and select ideas to implement around the theme of cost reduction. Then we move to the third stage. In the third stage, basically what you do is, we're going to have a meeting together with the board. The board basically are the people that have the power to implement these decisions, okay? Here at Casa da Moeda, here we received input from 18 directors. But at the end of the day, you have some people that will tell you which ones are the main ideas and which ones are the main filters, okay? You have many different tools that you can use. This is an example of a meeting with the board, okay? Basically what happens is they receive all the ideas, they have all the different criteria, and then based on this, they're going to take the decision. So we move to the fourth stage. Out of these ideas that arrive to the board, in this case, we arrive to 12 solutions, okay? Again, these solutions could be to solve any kind of problem, okay? In this case, they were focused on cutting costs, okay? We applied the filters, the different filters. In the case of Casa da Moeda, we arrived to 4 final solutions. And then, we move to the next stage. These final solutions will then be presented Okay? There are different ways to present these solutions. You can use, for example, posters, you can use prototypes, you can use videos, you can do elevator pitches. There are different ways, okay? For example, in this case, they used a lot the tool that is PowerPoint presentations, of course, and the elevator pitches. I'm going to show you some examples, which is when you arrive to this stage, you say, okay, we have 4 solutions to solve this particular problem. In this case, one team came up with ideas to motivate employees. Another team came with ideas for recycling, saving water and energy. Another one came with ideas for improving the company's canteen. For example, for those of you that are not Portuguese, probably don't know what is a bitoque. But a bitoque basically is an egg on the top of a steak. Okay? It's something very popular in Portugal. One of the problems we have in Portugal is that, in this particular case at Casa da Moeda, is that the canteen basically will not flow the queues simply because they were making bitoques to everybody that did not like the food. So imagine 200 people arriving for lunch and then a lot of people asking bitoques, okay? So you have these kind of things that can be improved in organizations, okay? This was another proposal from this group, which is basically ideas for saving costs, namely by making and compensating people who do that, okay? Once you do that, we move to the implementation phase. What did they do at Casa da Moeda? Basically, they got the framework that I'm going to give you in a second, okay? And they customized the framework for all the different, they are applying this now up to the board level, which is every time they have a problem at Casa da Moeda, this enters into the framework. Can be a problem on cost reduction, human resource management, entering into new markets. It doesn't matter, service quality, whatever, enters here, they go through the process, and then they solve the problem. Now, based on this, they created the Innovation Day at Casa da Moeda, where they present, this is the framework that I'm going to give you in a minute, already customized for Casa da Moeda, where basically what they do is they organize events about the ideas that come from this, okay? So I have many students of mine now implementing this framework in many different companies. And of course, if you like to join the value creation wheel boat, okay? Just send me an email. I'm going to write my email here on the board. And then we can speak further about that, okay? Questions? Regarding the rules of the field lab, of course, everything will be written in the syllabus, okay? You can check the syllabus, okay? Just think about this field lab like a field lab where you're gonna learn about a methodology to solve problems. Okay, that's it, as simple as that. Any kind of problems. I still have 5 minutes, no? So basically, for example, I'm using this framework for unemployed people. How can they find a job? I'm teaching now in the law school, here at Nova Law School. As you know, one of the problems in the field of law is students, they have a lot of difficulties in finding a job. So they apply the framework to find a job. So you can pick for any kind of problem you have in mind, okay? As long as it's not a short-term problem. It's like a methodology for problem solving. So regarding the field lab, there is an initial part where basically you do a revision of the literature regarding value creation. Let's say this is the theoretical part that counts for 40% of the final grade. And this is done together with other colleagues. And then what you do after this is each one of you, or in team, will be solving a problem of the company. For example, Turismo de Portugal, they have 3 urgent things to be solved. So if we have 6 students, we can put 2 students per problem, for example. Or, depending on the complexity of the problem, we might have, because sometimes some problems are inside a problem. So we can put the 3 students working, understand? So what we do is, depending on the problems that the organization presents, then we allocate the students to the definition of a VCW, a value creation mill. Okay?
Okay, just on, sorry to interrupt you, just on practical thing, the field labs have already been created on Moodle. Professors responsible for the field labs have to activate and make it visible to you so that you can apply with your CV and motivation letter. So have it ready for you to make your applications, okay? So next presentation will be the field lab,
Yep.
higher education field lab, Professor Elizabeth
I
Cardoso.
think I have just to discuss.